Hi, Vishesh. Thank you so much for your time and availability for this interview, small interview round. I hope you're doing fine.
Yeah, I'm doing fine, Mavis. Thank you so much for having me here.
All right. So I won't take much of your time and I will quickly jump to the questions. So my very first question to you, Vishesh, is like looking at your profile, you have achieved milestones at a very young age. And you are a co-founder, director at Anthill Creations, director at PR Packaging, and also you do a regular blogging about social issues, travel, opinion editorials for an online audience of like 3,500 people. How does it feel like, to be involved in too many things, and how does it all started?
So I'm very humbled that you are saying that I've achieved so much at a young age. But I mean, I think it all went very organically, and I think it's all with the help and support of my friends, my family, and my journey as I grew along. So after graduating from school, I got an admission into IIT Kharagpur, bachelor's in architecture, and that was like a window of opportunity in terms of finding people who were writing blogs who matched interests. So that's how Arbit Speculation started, when a few of us got together and started writing blogs. And gradually again, uh, as we studied architecture and we realized how we can create impact, we participated in a lot of different competitions where we were creating social impact, and we understood how impact entrepreneurship works. And that's how Anthill Creations got together, when we used recycled tires to make playgrounds for children. So that was again something which like my co-founders, my community, my friends, like we all got together, and that's how that started. And PR Packagings is a business since 30 years, which is being led by my father. So of course, that was something inevitable. I had to, of course, join and take it forward. So it has been a journey so far, where there's something that you're doing of your own, something that there's a legacy and you have to carry it forward, and there's something that's for your passion and going along with the sides. And I think it's an interesting take that you asked this question, that how does it feel to be in so many aspects at once, at one time. And sometimes it's too overwhelming, sometimes it's too exciting, and it just gives a rush that you know and it gives you the boost to do something even better, because you're being pushed outside of your comfort zone. So yeah, in a nutshell, I would say that that's the thrill of life, and even in the days when I'm down, I mean, this is the thing that keeps me going, to be consistent, to stay consistent in the things that I'm involved, and actually contribute and grow.
That's great, Vishesh. Thank you for sharing your experience. Also, Vishesh, you had also participated in Bentley's Future Cities competition representing APG School Faridabad, and now you are a dynamic architect and social entrepreneur. Can you share the experience of that competition and what did you learn from it?
So yeah, I think being a very logical and geeky uh, child, I mean, uh, the Bentley competition. So the theme of the competition was that we had to redesign the New Delhi railway station, completely redesign it. So there was a aspect where we did the physical model, the computer model, and we created the whole theme around how the flow would be and how it will be a more efficient architecture. And I think that was the first introduction for me as a person into the space of architecture, uh, before even I had even considered architecture as a career or as a side project. And I mean, when we visited the place and we actually went through each of the uh, we understood the flow chart. We went through the ticketing counter to the railway platforms, and we saw the congestion and what's happening. I mean, it was a real thrill in terms of understanding that, okay, this is the problem statement and this is what you can see, the energy, the aura, the movement. And this is something that you have to transform radically different. Like it's creation, it's just creating something which excited me, as a logical brain. It also helped me develop my creative brain, and counter question things, that why should the flow be like this. So yeah, I think that was the first thing that helped me plant that worm of architecture in my head. And the experience of the competition was amazing. So a team from Bentley used to actually come and educate us on the computer design program and how we had to create the 3D models. It was amazing to sketch out the flows, identify how we can generate alternative forms of energy. Like, it was thinking everything in totality, from top down, bottoms up, look at the macro picture and then also figure out the nuances. So I mean, it was wonderful. I mean, and then the final competition happened with all different schools in the area. And the judges had a good feedback for each one, which really helped us learn further. And we also won the best physical model award in that competition. So I think it was a beautiful and brilliant experience, which I would recommend that more and more children should have.
All right, and thank you. And I am very glad that you participated in one of our challenges or competitions. Like we keep do it like in every year. Actually, we do like organize such events. And also, you have also participated in Hult Prize to solve problems of early childhood education in urban slums.
Yeah.
And being the only team in India from India, you guys made your mark in the regional finals at San Francisco. Can you share something about that competition and the experience?
Yeah, so as I said that when I entered college, we'd already, got a lot of feedbacks and inspirations from seniors and colleagues and peers in terms of social entrepreneurship, impact entrepreneurship, how the bright minds of the country actually working towards solving social problem while at the same time being sustainable, not on a pure, donations model. And that's how we used to think along all the time. uh, I actually interned in Selco Foundation for a year, for 3 months, where we redesigned the dwelling unit of a slum. uh, that was also part of my architecture project. And when I visited the slums and when I saw the situation, that was really heart moving for me, in terms of how simple innovations like the structures we made can solve a lot of problems like rain or sunlight, or natural ventilation, hygiene. Basic problems can be solved by simple architecture and thinking processes. And when we used to visit the communities, children didn't have a lot of options to play. Like, there's an open area, but then children are just playing with broken sticks, slippers, and stuff like that. And thinking back, I always enjoyed the time which we had, as with playgrounds, with toys. And that was the thinking of my co-founders as well. So we sort of got together and developed this model. And Hult Prize, the problem statement was around early childhood education. So we completely looked at it in a different model. We saw it from the perspective of play, that how can we gamify the whole education model. Instead of just a teacher telling kids that, okay, this is A, B, C, D. Why don't we create a game out of it? And that's how, some senior people in Bangladesh had also done with the Kajuli model, and they had been recognized internationally. So we met them, we understood how the Kajoli model worked, and we created this whole model where we were using this Kajoli model for gamified education. We were using virtual reality and augmented reality headsets for children, and we were creating a community-based model which ran sustainably through the Anganwadis, or the early childhood education centers that are mandated by the government, and how we can improve the infrastructure of these centers. So I mean, this whole creating the business model, from the finances to visiting slums in Kolkata to actually creating a prototype and implementing it, I mean, it was an exhilarating experience for all four of us who participated. And when we were invited, when we were shortlisted and selected to be the our model was the best this uh, among the finalists, and when we were selected to go to San Francisco, we even worked harder and got feedback from a lot of senior people, the judges who came, and we worked on it. And when we presented our idea and business plan in San Francisco, we were more humbled because we saw how you know people in so many different countries had so many different ideas, which were simple, cost effective, unique, less complicated. And I think that was a learning for us. We actually tried to fit too many things in one, while trying to solve a basic problem, while people had brilliant ideas that were simple, unique, and were working great. So I think that was a learning, that every business should start with a very simple thought process and a very minimum viable product, an MVP prototype, and and gradually we keep on adding diversifications to it, instead of consolidating every possible solution. And I think that was a good learning and a good experience. The networking was great, and I would recommend that people should keep track of competitions and avenues like this, and participate in them, because it brings out a whole different personality altogether, especially students.
Yep, I completely agree with you. So when you move out of your zone and meet the like-minded people, you actually learn a lot. So that's a very, it's a good opportunity, and it's a very nice, good platform, I would say, when you get a chance to meet other people with like-minded, this like you learn a lot eventually. So yeah, that's a very great thing and amazing. Like I loved it. This is crazy. And also, would you like to share some with our listeners the simple things you do in your professional life to stay motivated and keep your inspiration alive?
I mean, I think, yeah, this is to each his own. Every person has a different way, or different methods to actually keep themselves motivated. Uh, but for me, I think it's. I mean, for me, it's prioritizing my schedule over everything else, and I think this has worked so far so good. But I'm learning how to schedule my priorities over prioritizing my schedule, and I think my only motivation is consistency. Like, whether it's a great moment or it's a bad moment, I sort of try to stay consistent, and I think that has helped me so far. Uh, uh, not getting influenced by the whims of emotion or anything else, and just focusing on the work that has to be done. That has helped me a lot. Regarding inspiration, I think anybody for that matter gets inspiration from anywhere. Like, the other day I was watching We Crashed, the story of WeWork. So be it a TV series, that you can get an inspiration from there. Or the other day I was going with my colleague to a customer, and we had not touched base with that customer since the past 3-4 years. And he inspired me that, we should definitely visit this customer, whereas I was trying to prioritize some other meetings over that. And he actually pushed me, and that resulted in a very good fruitful relationship further. So I think that that's also a very good way to be inspired. I take inspiration from my son daily. He's just 1.5 years old, but the way I see how he observes things and learns things and questions things, I think that really also inspires me on a daily basis, that why am I not questioning things as much as he does? Or the observation power that children have sometimes, that's something that adults really need to
Yeah.
reincorporate, unlearn, and then relearn in their lives. And whether it's my co-founders at Anthill, they have helped me a lot in terms of uh, you know uh, I would say unlearning my realistic sense of uh, scale. So sometimes when we talk about Anthill Creations, we look at uh, I set realistic and optimistic targets, saying that okay, if we did 100 playgrounds last year, we'll do 200 playgrounds or 250 playgrounds this year. Whereas my co-founders like Sauradeep, they give a different kind of question, that why can't we make 10,000? What's stopping us to make 10,000? And that sort of a vision, that sort of thought also helps a lot of times. uh, yeah, yeah. So inspiration can come from anywhere. I think it's the most important thing, that people keep constantly searching for
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, that's true, Vishesh. And also, lastly, would you like to share some career hints or like tips or tricks to the young students who are dreaming to walk on the same path as of yours?
I won't recommend anybody to, walk on the same path as mine, because I feel everybody should have their own path. And the only tip or trick I can probably suggest is just uh, go with the flow. There are some the so there are two kinds of people. One is who actually have a very clear thought process, that this is what they have to do, this is what they have to be. For example, a friend of mine, she's a pilot, so a very clear cut thought process. But for me, it was not that. I mean, I was not very clear cut. I didn't have a clear idea on where I want to be or what I want to do. Just my focus was only excelling on what where I am right now. So whether it was school, just focus on excelling there. Whether it was college, just focus on excelling there. Whether it was the competition Hult, or whether it was the startup Anthill, or whether it was PR packaging, just focus on excelling there and giving the results. So for me, it's more about pushing myself out of the comfort zone. Keep questioning, keep reviewing. I think setting a review frequency really helps. Just evaluate how has your past week been, how has your past month been, and then planning in advance, what are the top priorities for you in the month, for the year coming, and what is your 5-year plan. It may seem a bit theoretical, but the more you keep thinking about it, keep manifesting about it, it helps. And I think one thing which I am still learning, which I would recommend everybody to incorporate these tips and tricks as early as possible. I think two things. First is positive thinking. I think there is no upper bar to positive thinking. I mean, however much positive you can think, you should actually push yourself to think even more positive. You should let any sort of negativity come in your mind, and I'm sure these things will come. I'm not saying that they won't come, but you need to retrain your mind to think positive and look towards the tunnel, to the light at the end of the tunnel. And second would be creating an emotional connect. What I'm seeing in terms of millennials like us is that we are a text phone generation. So we don't connect with people as much as we should and as our elder generation did. And sometimes in sales relationships, building relationships with your, I mean, any business or any career, any job is around relationships with people. So whether it's relationships with your clients, your suppliers, so they're all people here. These are not entities, but you are interacting with the people in these entities. So I think one thing which I'm also learning and which I would suggest that young people should learn as soon as possible is creating that connect and not be too methodical and robotic in their interactions. It should be more about understanding the person who is in front of you.
Yeah, that's great, Vishesh. I'm sure, like a lot of people will, when the audience will listen to this interview. I'm sure a lot of people can relate it to you, and I'm sure this is going to motivate a lot of young students who are still like in the process of like their studies and everything. And when they enter industry, I'm sure this is going to help them a lot. And thank you once again, Vishesh, for your time and your availability. It's just like the entire, this session was so helpful, I would say, and it's gonna motivate a lot of students who are gonna hear this. So thank you once again, Vishesh, for your time.
Thank you so much, Mavis, for having me here.